Hello, I'm Shruti Rupa Banerjee, and welcome to the part 3 of the blockchain basics of InfoSec Girls. And here we'll be talking about the security aspect of it. So let's get started. And here I've shared the screen and let's talk about it. So the blockchain security. So here we'll take a quick recap. Actually, not a quick recap kind of thing, but we did talk about all these things like blockchain, mining, consensus, algorithms, and many more. So I would ask you to, if you are completely new to blockchain, then make sure that you go through the first two videos, the first two parts of blockchain basics. We'll make sure to share the link in the description. And yes, and if you already have some sort of idea, here in the security part, we'll be talking about the approach towards the security aspect. Basically, will not be finding any vulnerability or any special kind of attacks, but we'll understand where does this security part come into picture in blockchain. So you need to remember once in a blockchain, always in the blockchain. So if anything, any kind of data, any kind of information related to transaction or anything is once in a blockchain, it will always be. And as I said before, today's agenda is why, how, where, why security mostly. So we'll just understand the approach. We'll not deep dive into too much details right now. We'll try to make it as simpler as possible. Again, why are we concerned about security? Because we want to maintain the confidentiality, integrity, availability. The CIA triad is one important thing that we should never forget. And of course, there are other factors too, but these are the main things, and they are somewhat related to all these things, like authentication, authorization, accessibility, non-repudiation, etc. Anyway, so let's get started. The risks. We are directly moving to the risks because we did talk about the basics in our previous videos. So the risks are, here I have created 4 different kinds of categories because we are talking about the approach over here. Later in my videos, we'll talk about the vulnerabilities specifically. But right now, let us understand what the approach is. Where are we looking for any vulnerability in blockchain or blockchain related applications or smart contracts? Where are we looking into for security? So that is something that we are talking about over here. First of all, malicious miners or mining. We have already understood that miners are there for verifying and validating the transactions. So if the miners are malicious, what are we going to do? There's a typo. It would be like, what if the miners are malicious? So what if the miners are malicious? They can actually manipulate the entire transaction. And if they can manipulate the transaction, these kind of attacks are of course possible, like 51% attack, double spending, race conditions, etc. We will be understanding about these attacks specifically in our next video. But here, like, I'll give you some idea of what happens is if there's a mining pool over there and there are a group of miners, and if they're able to, have a large amount of processing power, especially more than 50%, then they do have the power to manipulate the transaction. And theoretically, it is possible, but due to high processing power, for some cryptocurrencies or for some blockchain platforms, these are not successful yet. But yes, it has happened before in some other platforms. Criminal activities. This is something we always talk about. We always talk about being aware of, because of course, if there is an application, if there's any kind of application, there's a website, web application, anything is over there, there will be hackers who are trying to, attract you through those by creating those similar kind of links and then making you click over there. This happens, right? Even over here also. But what are we actually losing if we click on any suspicious link over here? Again, they may get your credentials, they may get your private key, they may steal your seeds. Seeds are important if you're using wallets, of course. If you're using if you're working or you're doing something with the cryptocurrency, mostly you're using it for some trading kind of purpose or any kind of purposes. If you're using it, you may need to use seeds to, you know, protect your wallet. And if you click on such suspicious links, they may get access to your seeds, and of course they may get access to your account as well. So you have to take care of this. So this is another category that we are talking about. One category was the malicious miners. Under this category, under malicious miners, there are many things that we can cover actually. Apart from, I just gave few examples of the kind of attacks. There are many things that can happen. And we will definitely talk about it in another video. Then the criminal activities, of course. Smart contract vulnerabilities. We did talk about smart contracts a bit in our previous videos. Again, we'll try to make a video separately on smart contracts. Now, smart contracts are nothing, but they are just simple pieces of code. And if there is a piece of code, of course, the code is made of logic. Whatever you're making, you're using code, then you're making some kind of logic out of it. And then you're trying to solve a problem. Mostly that is what we do, right? So there might be a situation where there is a fault. There might be a fault. And sometimes those faults or flaws may turn into a vulnerability if they're manipulated. And as a result, they can become exploitable. So in case of contracts, the contracts, you have to make sure that using the contracts, mostly what we are trying to do is mostly we are sending or receiving some kind of funds. Even while we are achieving some other kind of goals, there is a kind of transaction that is happening over there. So if it is related to transactions where you are sending something, some amount of cryptocurrency, say Ether, or if you're receiving some amount of Ether, then you'll have to make sure that the ownership remains with the correct owner. It should not uh, get into the hands of a malicious user. Like if there is an external contract which is malicious and gets access to the victim contract, they can actually steal all the money out of there. This happens, and sometimes these happens because of uh, fault in the logic, sometimes because of the usage of vulnerable functions, and these things have again happened. There are many other examples. We'll be talking about these vulnerabilities in details as well. So this is just one approach. So if there are smart contracts, of course, there are pieces of code that are being used, and of course, there are vulnerabilities. So we have to take care of that as well. Another one is losing private key. This is something, again, we should be remembering that if it is lost, we cannot recover. Because again, these are like the seeds that we talked about, right? In this slide, criminal activities. So again, if you lose a private key, if your private key is compromised, again, you cannot completely say it's a password, but you can consider it to be like one. You can relate it to that one. Because if it is lost, then of course many things are lost, because you can create a public key out of a private key, but you cannot create a private key out of a public key, and it should never happen like that. If it is happening, then it should be stopped right there. It means they are not secure. So losing private key means your private key has been compromised, and they can, again, the attackers can actually misuse those private keys. They can sign some kind of malicious data, some malicious information. They can totally use them to sign some, they're making a transactions, and then they decide to sign it using your private key. This happens, you sign using your private key. so that anybody over there can de-sign it using your public key to prove the authenticity of the user, like authenticity of the not authenticity of the user, but it's like mostly related to the non-repudiation factor over here. Okay, we'll not get into too much detail over there, but it is related to that. So you mostly sign it using your private key, any kind of transaction you are making. So if your private key is lost, then it can be used to make any kind of malicious transaction or any malicious kind of activity that can happen. So you have to take care of all those things. So these are the 4 approaches. These are not exactly approach, but it will give you an idea that if you're looking towards, looking forward to blockchain-based security, blockchain security, then what you should be considering it, where you should be looking at. Of course, there are other things also, and we are not getting into too much details, but we are understanding the basics right now. In our later videos, we'll try to cover the specific vulnerabilities and then discuss about them. So for now, you can contact me uh, through my Twitter handle or LinkedIn. I have my website too. You can get my details over there. There are a few blog posts over there too. And these are the references. And thank you so much. Thank you, InfoSec Girls, for giving me this opportunity. And let me know if you have any doubts, any questions, any suggestions. We have over here. You can contact me over there. You have any questions related to the slides. And thank you so much.